Hi folks, and welcome back to Fishing with Den. Well, nice sunny day today, but unfortunately a bit windy. That's going to cause me one or two problems, but not to worry about that. Anyway, what we're going to do today is we're going to continue the theme of using Indian spices to put into ground bait and also into bait. Now obviously I've got my home base ground bait here, which is breadcrumbs and some ground up chicken layer pellets, and I've just put in some curry powder from the local Indian Emporium into that. The usual pellets, again, just soaked them, drained it off, put some curry powder on top, and that's it. Got some sweet corn as well, and that's been soaking in curry powder overnight. If it's anything like the chili we did last time, don't know about that one. I've also got some paste made out of curry powder as well, and if I start saying garlic at some point, for garlic read curry, because for some reason the aged brain doesn't seem to want to compute the difference. But anyway, as I said, a couple of months ago we did the one on red hot chili powder, and it did seem to work. If you haven't watched that one, I'll put a link up now just above so you can see it. But today what I'm going to do is, I'm in the same swim, I'm going to try and fish the same distances, top 2 plus 3 out in front, top 2 plus 3 down to the right in the margins. That margin down there is going to be difficult because it's the water level's gone down since the last time we fished it. You may be able to see all this rubbish that's accumulated down the edge, but more than that, where those red flowers are on that overhanging bush, if you come back a little bit, you may just be able to see rocks, and that's literally that deep. Coming down under here, there's a great big log under there which is going to cause me a problem, but even then it's only that deep. So that margin probably isn't going to be a margin, it's probably going to be just the other side of that bar created by the rocks. So it probably is going to be 3 or 4 meters out. Not really going to concentrate on that one because it's quite a strong wind today coming straight at me. Okay, now before we actually get on with that, I've got a little bit of news and some thank yous. Over the last week, since I did the 3-day tournament one where I lost my rod, I've had some donations, which is a bit of a first for me. Obviously not huge donations, I wouldn't ask for that, but let me just thank the following 3 people. And first of all, we've got Snowbird. Now Snowbird appears to be from Germany because he said Danke, which is German for thanks. And so Snowbird, vielen Dank, Schneevogel, und frohe Weihnachten, mein Freund. That's my attempt at German. Been a long time since I spoke German, but that's near enough. We've also had John Williams, who I met when I was fishing the competition last week, and he's donated too. So in good old Aussie fashion, g'day John, put some shrimps on the barbie and have a very Merry Christmas, mate. And that's my rubbish impression of an Aussie accent, and of course nobody actually speaks like that over here, so mate, Merry Christmas yourself too. And last but definitely not least, we've got Jeff. Jeff is one of my long-time subscribers who used to go under the pseudonym of Shed43A. Not quite sure what that was about, but Jeff appears to be Welsh, and he very kindly donated along with the other 2, but I'm really not even going to try a Welsh accent boil. So Merry Christmas, Jeff, and of course Merry Christmas to everyone else that's subscribed and is a regular viewer, and indeed to all new viewers as well. Now if you do want to donate, all you need to do is click the 3 dots down below the screen here, then click on the thanks tab that comes up, and then there's some instructions on how to do it. Now obviously I'm not asking you to do it. If you don't want to, feel free not to, but if you do donate, then every little helps, and it does cost a fair bit to buy all these cameras and recording equipment and wireless transmitters and all the rest of it. So every little counts, and it's all very much appreciated. Right, enough of that, let's get on with the fishing. I'm going to do exactly the same as I did last time. Bear in mind that was 2 months ago and the weather was a bit cooler then. Obviously we've got other adverse conditions today with that fairly strong crosswind, but basically I'm going to take a few pellets, 1 or 2 bits of this garlicky corn. I don't know how well that's going to work. Oh, one of the downsides to this stuff, by the way, it doesn't sting as much as the chili did if you get it in your eyes, but it certainly makes your hands stink. So if you're going to mix this stuff up, you might want to consider using gloves, which I didn't. But anyway, 1 ball of ground bait, We're going out, as I probably mentioned, to a top 2+3, which is about 7.5 meters, something like that. So just go to there. Got a marker over there and put that in. We'll do the same in the 2 margin swims as well. As I said, a little bit of pellet, 1 or 2 of these. I don't want to go mad on putting corn in, because I don't want to be accused of attracting the fish with the corn rather than anything else. So we'll put that one in down here. I've probably got 2 feet down at that margin down there, so I'm quite pleased about that. Don't want to fish too close in, as I say, because of all these sticks and debris that were deposited during the last floods. And then final one. And this is a little bit more difficult. I've got a marker over there on the far bank for this. That shallow area, by the way, really all but sticking out down by the reeds, but there's a bar that seems to come down, so I'm just going to put this on the other side of the bar. And if I get this right, that about there should be the right place. Now, as I say, with the wind and everything else, which is probably going to get up later on again, I probably may not end up fishing down there, so we'll probably end up concentrating on the outer swim and the right hand margin swim. Let's see how we get on, shall we? Looking forward to this. Tackle wise, fairly standard stuff. I'm going to be fishing with a 0.6 of a gram float. I'm on a 6 pound main line, which is 0.25 Guru drag line, and I've got an 0.22 bottom, so a size 12 B911 hook. The 0.6 of a gram float is homemade, and I've got a strung bulk down here with a couple of droppers, which I've just managed to catch myself, coming down. I'm fishing probably that far on the bottom, and obviously I've got a 14 slick elastic in this one. In the side rig, because the fish tend to be bigger, the margin rig, I've actually got a 22 slick elastic in, but we'll probably get to that shortly. Now I'm hoping that it will hold with just the 0.6 of a gram float, but not necessarily sure, so we may have to possibly go to a 1 gram float, maybe even more if the wind really gets up. But here we are then, we've started to fish, and hopefully we'll get a few bites pretty soon actually. Well, 20 minutes in, wind's getting stronger, kind of as expected. Don't know where it keeps coming from, but I think what I'm going to have to do is have a bit of an extra length of line between the float and the pole tip. That's called the lash for anyone that doesn't know. I'd also go just a little bit more in depth so that the bait's on the bottom, and I'm also going to just have a small shot just touching bottom, just to try and keep everything nice and steady, because at the moment I'm kind of dragging around a bit with all this, so I think I'll try that next. Professional angler wouldn't do this. That's the loop of my rig. I've tied a little bit of a piece of line there with another loop, figure of 8 loop in it, and I'm going to just attach it. Now, if this was a match and I was doing anything really serious, I would have just got a different rig out and done it properly, but this will work, and no one really ever accuses me of being that professional, do they? So there's the 2 loops. Going to give myself an extra excuse me, 6 inches or so, and tie another loop, figure of 8 loop. Just put that in. Whoops, it's everything blown away, look. Make sure you damp it. I may need to just mess around with the rig a little bit after this, because obviously I'm going to be going deeper. I've put a shot on the bottom, and that may well affect the performance of everything. I also need to move my back shot back. Always use a back shot, by the way. Oops, almost made that come off then. Okay, and go maybe 3 inches deeper. That's 75 millimeters. What that does, it puts that little number 8 shot there on the bottom. which means it'll steady everything down and it'll sort of drag it along if it has to, but hopefully it'll create enough stability for the float to sit neatly. I don't know if this curry does something to these bits of corn, or if it's just a rubbish tin of corn, but some of these bits of corn seem to be a bit sort of gooey, as in not very good. It may just have been the tin. I just buy the cheapest possible bits of tins of corn. Well, actually I don't, my wife does, but then you probably knew that. Okay, where's my... there you go. Let's get this out there and see how we go with it, but this wind is going to make life difficult today. Oh, just had a fish just surfaced down in my side swim there. Might be going down to that a lot earlier. That swim over there, I suspect I may have mega problems trying to hold the rod in it. Anyway, back to what I was saying on this one. The extra length of the lash, the distance between the tip and the float, means that when the rod's bouncing around all over the place, it doesn't have quite the same effect on the float and pulling it around. It's got a bit of extra give in it, so to speak. But anyway, we're going to find out if I'm talking rubbish or not in a few minutes, because it's about 20 minutes in and I'd hope to be getting bites in the next sort of 20 minutes or so. Wow. I was just checking around, make sure I got everything straightened out, and I didn't even see the bite. Luckily, we've probably got it on this camera down here. Like I said, no one's ever accused me of being professional. Why do they always want to come in over your baited area? Just hope there's not too many sticks and stones down there. I know there's a lot down the edge, but we'll see. Still got one or two sticky ups down there. They're about so wide, some of them. Ooh. Come on. You can give up now. He's got some go, this guy, hasn't he? Well, he's not all that big. Hear the wind on the rod and the elastic. Right, come on, fish. Enough messing around now. Gotta be careful of this camera down here, the camcorder, just in case I catch it with the landing net. Come on. See how long a distance is? It probably doesn't look all that far on the camera, but trust me, this is 3.3 meters long and I can just about reach the bottom, and I can see a stick sticking up down there too. Wow. He really doesn't want to give up, this guy, does he? There we are. He's a bit bigger than I first thought. Looks can be deceiving, I suppose. Ugh. He's actually probably about 4 pounds. He's not very long, but he is very, very thick. As I say, he's not huge, but he's actually a nice fish. Good start to the day. And a bite. Yay. Well, maybe that minor adjustment made all the difference. Just keeping the bait more still, more steady, like I was hoping to. Certainly I've had 2 bites literally in seconds after putting it in, so That's not too bad at all, and it just goes to show this old curry powder seems to be doing a good job. It's a shame about the fact you have to wash your hands 5 times, because I make mine the night before and oh, my hands stunk for hours. I think after this one we'll put some more feed in just to keep it going in for the day. I'm here to try the stuff, so let's see what happens. Now I would consider loose feeding, but this wind's going to actually spread it all over the place, so I'll just feed it through the pot. And I'm going to feed it through the big pot rather than the small pot that goes on the tip of the pole. Oh, this is a small fish, but as I always say, very welcome. Oh, this is not easy today. Come on, fish. All right. Okay. 2. Well, pleased about that. Might as well feed all 3 swims. Probably not the way I would do it on a match, but as I say, we're testing bait today, so tactics are probably slightly different. Let's get this all out there again. I'm going to feed all 3 swims, as I say. Where are we at? Next section, right. And there's my marker. In we go. Just get it in the exact position. Sink the tip of the rod. Use my knee to support it. Oh. That was literally as it hit the bottom. Wow. Maybe there's something in this garlic, keeps on like garlic curry powder after all, eh? Right, don't go down there, fish. I don't want you to go into that swim. Come on, out. That's it. Come on round. And literally, probably just about hit the bottom. Whoops. And that was it. As I say, the only thing about this garlic though is it may well be very good, but if it means you stink of garlic, I'm not so sure about it. But literally, as you saw, I fed, went in, and it went under. So I'm not fussed at all about being scared by the ground bait going in. Come on. Thank you. 3. Bit of a drop. I might try next time to get further down there, but the bottom's a bit soft, and as an old bloke, you don't really want to be falling in, do you? Wouldn't be the first time though, would it? Literally took Bob straight away then. And yeah. Well, this can't be bad, can it? Ooh, where's he off to? He's off out there somewhere, look. Whoa, fish. Look at that. This old elastic done half stretched, isn't it? Maybe I should have put the 22 on this one as well. Nah, a bit too strong for today then. See the bow in the line caused by the wind, I think. Right, come on. Let's be having you. A good old pull on him, hasn't he? Whoa, wind. Got a new hat for Christmas, by the way. Cost me about £4. The other one kept blowing off, so this one's sticking on my head a bit better. Oh well, this is difficult with the net. Come on, fish. Oh, we ran his dorsal fin. I just clattered the camera. This stick down there, I don't know if it's attached to much, but this just went round it. Come on. Yeah, hadn't got enough landing net handle to reach out. As I said, it's a 3 metre landing net handle. What's going on there? Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh. I just about lift this. I need a leg assist at some point. Not actually even a heavy fish, it's just the wind and the angle, leverage. Whew. Yeah, he's probably another one of those about £4. They're really short and stocky. Big around the shoulders, these ones. What's that for? That's not bad, is it? Got to keep the rig from hitting the deck here. Right, I should that a bit further than I need to, and then should be okay. Now, where are we for the camera? Nowhere near, it's bounced it. There we are. Okay, let's see if that hits the bottom and goes under. Yep. I don't know if we caught that one on camera, I'm still messing around with it. But I tell you what, this is mayhem, which is great. Who knew, eh? As I always say, who knew? Whoa, where you going, fish? May not need the inside swims today. Now he's been all the way down there, now he's coming around this way. Oh, and by the way, this is that replacement pole I ended up buying. This is the Daiwa Yank and Bank 14.5 metre. I had the 13 metre, the original pole of mine, but as you know, I kind of made a mess of that one when I crushed the end of it, although it did actually do okay as a repair for the tournament. But this is my first go with this one, and it does feel a little bit lighter than the original one, but the good news is that all the sections, apart from the top twos pretty much, are compatible with this one, so if I do need spares, I've got plenty. And this isn't a very big fish at all, but did you see the way he took off on that 14 elastic? Wow. Oh, there we are. I might stop counting soon. I tend to lose count, don't I? Lose track. That's a bite, I think. There we are. Right, I think what I'm going to do is we'll get this one in, then I'm going to refeed out there, and I'm going to have a go down the side there just to see. And the fish are often somewhat bigger down the side, so we'll see how that goes. And to be honest, the way things are going, I'm pretty much going to ignore that area over there, because as I said at the start, it really wasn't a preferred area anyway, especially with this wind. Nothing big yet, really. Size for the fish wise, I mean. Come on. I just wish I wasn't so far up on the bank sometimes. It just seems to be a factor of living over here that you end up right up a bank. Another landing net post, 4.5 metres, and that's only just long enough sometimes. Yeah, another fairly smallish fish. Right, come on, fish. Right, as I say, we'll get this fish off and then we'll have a go down the inside just to see. And again, I wouldn't normally do that in a match, but it's not a match. Okay, so this rig, the down the side rig, is a 0.4 of a gram Drennan crystal, and I think I might even have 8-pound line as the main line, and probably 6-pound line is the bottom. I've got a sort of a bulkish sort of a thing, but 10 hook, B911, and I haven't actually been able to put the camera that way just immediately, so let me just do that now, see if we can get this to go around where we need it to be. Not sure what I'm looking at. Let's get the rig out first of all, and then we can see if we're doing it, but don't be surprised if I get a bite straight away. Alright, there's the 7 metres pole. Oh, probably not far off, maybe a bit more zoom. Well, normally if you're going to get a bite down there, you get it pretty much straight away. It would appear there's nothing down there. I'll just try a little bit closer in and down that way a little bit. I think that might have been a bit of a nudge then, but I'm not sure. Certainly if they were there, normally that'd have been gone under long ago. So I'm just going to do what I said I wasn't going to do, and I'm going to try and just have one quick go out there. And I've got to be careful here because this pole is going to hit the tripod if I'm not careful. It's about there, I think. I'm going to be really careful how I do this. That's moving too much. Yeah, it's actually trotting along there. Let's see if we can hold it back, because I am quite a bit over depth. As I said, it really wasn't the way to go today, that one. Oh, had a bit of a bob then, I think. Really not that comfortable though. Going under? Yeah. Oh, Den, what do you know, mate? What do you know? Right, get that rod out of the way. Pole out of the way. Well, maybe we will start fishing down there a little bit. As you saw there, it was a bit of a loop-the-loop with the pole. But hey, I can do that. About the same sort of size as the others at the moment. Give it one more go down there, and then we'll feed the 2 margin swims and go back out on the outer swim, main swim we'll call it. Try not to hit the camera this time, Dan. I've lost count of how many this is. Is it 7 or something? You'd think I could count to 10, wouldn't you? That's what happens when you get old. Well, the wind may be making things difficult, but the fishing's really good, isn't it? If nothing else, it's already proven that they aren't averse to taking curry powder flavoured bait. Just watch that tripod. It's about the current's coming down this way, so I'm just holding back. Nope, no more bites down there, so what we're going to do is feed, like I said, and go back out onto the main line. Actually, on this line, just so you know, I've just been using the straightforward corn as it came out of the tin, because I forgot to share some of that other stuff over here. At least this stuff doesn't make my hands go bright red like the chili did. So I probably will give chili a miss based on that. Right, I'll have to move that camera in a second, but Let's just get this thing in first of all. That's the only thing with these cameras, you have to keep messing around with them. That's more or less it. It may or may not be in, but let's just see if we get a bite straight away first of all. And we did. There's the off to. Nothing really big so far. I mean, I've had them up to 15 pounds or so in here. So there are some decent fish in here. It's just today I seem to be getting all the small ones. Oops. Tell you what though, even just between fish every few minutes, this net's all but drying out with this wind and this heat. And he was quicker than I was. Come on. Getting snagged up on that log down there. That'll do. Probably about 4 pounds again. Could do with catching something bigger. Yay. Oof. I think that one might have been foul hooked. And it's got me all tangled up. Oh no, we're okay, we've dropped out. Just round the float a bit, that's all. Well, all going well so far, isn't it, guys? I think in a minute I might try some of that curry powder paste that I've made. See how that goes. But I am just going to feed again, just to get a bit more bait into the water. Right. It'd be nice if I could feed by hand, but it would be scattering it all over the place today, so I'll just continue with doing it this way. I think seems to work fine. A bit more of a pain, but live with that. I'm now going to try a little bit of this paste which I made, and yep, that stinks pretty badly too. My hands are going to really honk after this. I'll try a reasonable sized piece of paste on it. It's softish, it should go through okay. Right. Oops. This isn't that melting paste when you hear people talking about paste fishing. This is just straightforward, a bit like bread paste, but with curry powder in. There's obviously something down there. Now whether it's fish or whether it's turtles or eels, I don't know. But the float has been moving, it's just not actually going under at this point. Yay! Took a bit longer, but then maybe corn would have too. A few fish out of there now, and come on, out of the way. That's it. Had a few fish out of there now. Remember, this is a natural venue, not a commercial. And as I've said before, Den's pretty much the only one that fishes it, apart from the owner's young lad that comes down occasionally, loses a few hooks. Oh, what have I done here? My net's stuck. Running out of handle, like I keep saying. Let's bring the longer net handle next time, I think. Gotcha. Must be getting close to about 10 now, I think, aren't we? Decent enough fish, I tell you. With what I've got so far, I'd have put a fair net together today. Right, lunch break over then. Put my sunglasses back on. And we'll get back out over onto the main swim and see if anything's doing out there again. About time too. And excuse me, had to wait all of a minute and a half for that. Okay, it's gone off down that way. Oh, fish. He's right round the tip of the island. Oh. Come on, back through. Come on. Oh. Oh, little tiny fish just jumped in my right hand margin. No, don't you go into that margin swim. Go out that way. Whew. Getting too old for this. About the same size as all the other ones too. Didn't he go though, eh? Come on. Come on. Haha, fooled you. And he's probably 3.5 pounds, maybe 4. Absolutely amazing fish. Well, it seems they are still out there and they're willing to feed, so I'm going to carry on for a short while, guys. But I think this last 2.5–3 hours or so has proven pretty conclusively that curry powder in ground bait and on bait, obviously on the pellets as well and the corn, does work rather well. Certainly doesn't put them off. Does it work as well as a turmeric? That's still to be evaluated. But something which occurred to me is that pungent aroma that makes your hands stink for hours afterwards, if I go and fish a really muddy water, which really doesn't seem to have fined down after the last floods, hopefully that'll bring the fish in to where I'm fishing, because obviously the smell will do the job rather than doing it by sight. Anyway, that remains to be seen, but the verdict for curry powder for me is a definite yes, it does work. The only downside is that horrible smell on your hands for hours afterwards, but that's something I'm prepared to live with. Anyway, I'm going to carry on, as I say, for a short while now. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, if you did, please click the like button, it helps a lot. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.